This is the video for order of operations. So we're going to start by looking at PEMDAS, where you guys have seen this before. You might say, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, but starts with parentheses, moves on to exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So feel free to write those down if you need to. If you remember them, you don't. Let's look at that first example. So we have parentheses, we've got multiplication, we've got addition. So the first thing on the top of the list is parentheses. We got to do that first. 3 plus 5 gives us 8. Fill in everything else. Moving down, there's no exponents, however, there's multiplication, so we're going to do that next. So we end up with 8 times 5 gives us 40, and last but not least, addition. 40 plus 1 gives us 41. Not so bad. Let's look at that second example, the one on the right. So we have subtraction, multiplication, addition. So obviously the first thing we're going to have to do is multiplication. 5 times 4 is going to give us 20. Now here is where we might need to remember that we have to go from left to right. Addition and subtraction are on the same line, as is multiplication and division. So that means we have to go left to right. Even though you might see A before S, addition and subtraction are on the same line. So we go left to right, and in this case it was subtraction before addition. Let's look at that second example on the left. Division, multiplication, exponents. So looking at PEMDAS, we need to do our exponent first. Next, this is the same issue that we had with the first one. Even though we see M before D, you got to go left to right because they're on the same line. Next, multiplication, and then last but not least, we have subtraction. Moving on. Those funny looking brackets are just another form of parentheses. So when we have parentheses, we got to work inside out since we have 2 sets. So we're going to look at 5 minus 2 first because that's on the inside. So rewriting 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. Now looking inside the parentheses, we either have addition or exponents. So exponents is going to be next. Now we can finish out those brackets by adding 12 plus 9. And 2 is on the outside and it's next to the bracket, so that means we're multiplying. So our final answer is 42. Let's look at that bottom left example. It's a little heftier. So when we see a fraction bar, it's dividing the numerator and denominator. So we have to simplify the numerator first. And I started with doing the exponent out, and then we can start and simplify the denominator. So the first step in that, inside the parentheses, I have multiplication. So I changed 4 times 5 to 20. Let's keep simplifying. So again, with the numerator, we got multiplication next. So I can do 4 times 25 to get 100, 4 times 3 to get 12. And then in the bottom, finish doing my parentheses. 20 plus 2 gives me that 22. When I subtract in the numerator and multiply in the denominator, I get 88 over 88, which is equal to 1. Funny how that worked out. Looking at our last example, we have absolute value bars, which also act as parentheses. So we can do those first. And again, the fraction bar separates the numerator and denominator, so we need to simplify both of them before we can do any division. So first, 11 minus 15 gives us negative 4, plus 6 in the numerator. Those absolute value bars don't go away yet. And in the denominator, parentheses come first. So 3 plus 4 gives us 7. Let's look back at the numerator. We have the absolute value of negative 4, which is positive 4. Once we take it out of the absolute value bars, you don't need them anymore. We made it positive, so we're adding 6 to that. 2 to the third power is 8, because exponents come before addition. So when we add the numerator and denominator, we get 10 over 15. However, that is not my final answer because it is not fully reduced. When I fully reduce it, I get 2/3. This is one of 2 videos, so please click the second video after you finish these notes.